Every moment in the Sea of Thieves matters. One wrong move or timing being off on one seemingly innocent decision can take your ship full of treasure and bring it to its depths. So the story I have to present to you today does not have a happy ending, but it's a perfect example of why timing is everything on the seas. Because what goes wrong is something that the crew of the Aquaholics never saw coming, but could have prevented if timing was different on just a few small things. Our tale today begins on a dark and stormy night at Reaper's hideout. The two-man brigantine known as the Aquaholics, which was a fitting name by the way, had just sold off a bit of treasure. The first member of the crew was the captain, Trent, who in his past had a bad bout with an Ashen Lord, giving him a fiery red curse that scattered across his skin. His crewmate, Tatted Tate, had a tattoo on his body for every notable moment in his pirate life. His latest tattoo, which he thought would be helpful, was a tattoo of a compass. What was not helpful was deciding the tattoo would go on his back. Now, whenever he needs to use the compass, he has to have Trent look at his back. The Aquaholics was flying the Reaper Emissary flag, meaning they were down to clown with any ships that sailed their way. Their flag was at grade 4, so they were very close to getting the grade 5 Reaper's Emissary perk of being able to see other emissary ships on the map. Trent and Tatted Tate decided to do a quick voyage to get it up to grade 5. What better voyage to do than a battle with a skeleton lord? Tatted Tate, with his fantastic directional skills, got the Aquaholics safely to the crooked masts. Tatted Tate and Trent went right to work taking down skeleton wave after skeleton wave, working their way towards the skeleton lord. But the skeletons weren't the only thing being assassinated at crooked masts. Pour one out for the chickens and snakes who every day, due to the limited landmass of the crooked masts, get shot and sliced unintentionally, leaving only their uncooked raw meat in their place. This one's for you, chickens. After a few waves of skellies, it was time to fight the Duchess. With the Duchess now more like the Deadess because she was dead, loot was gathered and brought aboard by the Aquaholics. But to the crew's disappointment, they still sat at grade 4 Reaper Emissary. When the duo got back on their ship, they tried to play a sea shanty, but kept having to stop to do ship things like vote on a voyage or lower the sails. The ship set off to do what had to be just one more voyage to get them to grade 5 Reapers. This time, they would try their hand at a Ghost Fleet voyage. The Ghost Fleet voyage worked out generally well, as Tatted Tate focused on driving while Trent focused on cannon shots and would head to repairs and bilge when needed. At this moment, I was having some extreme deja vu of a 2-pirate brigantine taking on a Ghost Fleet. Trent hit most of his shots, and Tatted Tate kept the ship in generally good spots, leading to a successful first wave. Things went really south in the final wave though. A barrage, and I mean a barrage, of phantom cannonballs and wraith balls pummeled the Aquaholics. Tatted Tate hadn't seen this many ghosts since his last visit to Disney World on the Haunted Mansion. Things were really bad, so as soon as the opportunity presented itself to take out the lead Ghost Fleet ship, they didn't miss their opportunity and fired away at it, disbanding the fleet and rewarding a small pile of skulls. The pile was so small, in fact, even with the completion of the voyage and this loot on board, their flag still was at grade 4 Emissary. Tatted Tate was thirsty for pirate blood, but the silly PvE voyages kept holding him back. Timing is everything on the seas, and had timing allowed for a few better angles or perhaps a Ghost Fleet that didn't shoot as much at them, maybe they could have gotten the flag to grade 5 after all by sinking a few more of the Ghost Fleet ships. But in reality, the flag was still grade 4. And so Tatted Tate and Trent went back to the map table for one more voyage. This time, a gold hoarder vault. A quick map table check showed a grade 5 Reaper ship that had appeared up to the north, likely doing hourglass dives. And otherwise, the server was generally pretty clear. meaning they'd be able to pull off this gold hoarder voyage quickly. Or would they? A few minutes passed, and Tatted Tate decided to take a quick power nap, leaving Trent alone to man the ship, and ideally get the first buried map piece in the Vault voyage. The Aquaholics pulled in slowly to their first quest island, Shipwreck Bay. As Trent began to slow the ship down and work on parking it, a quick map table check showed trouble was brewing. The Reaper 5 that was seen relatively far to the north about 4 minutes ago was now so incredibly near. While Trent continued to focus on parking, from the crow's nest the Grade 5 galleon could be seen. In the midst of watching the galleon on the other side of the island, suddenly, the Aquaholic's anchor dropped. Trent, who was still manning the ship solo, had dropped it on purpose just to make sure that the ship was in a good spot. But he was so completely unaware of what was coming. In every Sea of Thieves surprise attack, there is this moment of seemingly calm before the storm, and Trent was oblivious. He had no idea. After pulling the anchor back up, Trent went off to the island to begin to search for the buried treasure map piece. As the galleon rolled around the island, it got closer to the Aquaholics. It seemed like perhaps Trent may have even seen the galleon, but maybe he didn't, because then he started to dig. Had Trent left the ship 1 moment later, or had Tatted Tate just woke up, things could have been very different. But unfortunately, things were not very different. The galleon opened fire, hitting initial chain shots on both masts, one balling the sleeping Tatted Tate, and then sending over a number of cannonballs along with a boarder. Trent swam back over to the ship, but it was already too late. The sound of gunfire echoed, and finally, right as I went to the ferry, the gong indicating the Aquaholics had sunk. Timing is everything in Sea of Thieves, and unfortunately for Tatted Tate and Trent, time was not on their side today. Timing can earn you a Grade 4 Reaper flag and loot from various Order of Souls voyages. Timing can also earn you a sunk ship. Just like the seas, time can be kind, or it can be cruel. And today, for the crew of the Aquaholics, time was kind of a jerk.